Shakespeare has a rhythm, yeah? If we shadows have offended, think but this and all is mended, that you had but slumbered here whilst these visions did appear. Perfect.
This is the New Globe Theatre. Completed in 1996, it is situated 600 feet from the old site. It was the creative vision of one man, Sam Wanamaker, who, when visiting London in the 50s, was shocked to find that there was no working memorial to Shakespeare. It is possible to take acting workshops all year round at the Globe, but an hour lesson may not be enough to completely master the subtleties of Shakespeare.
Ill met, by moonlight, proud Titania.
What, jealous Oberon? Fairies, skip hence. I have forsworn his bed and company.
Tarry, rash wanton, am not I thy lord?
Then I must be thy lady. But that, forsooth, your warrior love to Theseus must be wed.
How canst thou thus for shame, Titania? Yeah, okay.
Excuse me, you are the lying, cheating one. I did nothing wrong, and I have got to tell you, you have a problem if you think you're going to talk to me that way. Thank you. You love me, you really love me, don't you?
I knew she'd get that bowing.
Soho is the centre of London's West End and is the heart of its nightlife. It's home to most of London's theatres, and you'll find clubs, bars, and restaurants open late. I'm here to see some music at the Pizza Express Jazz Club on Dean Street. But jazz isn't all Soho has to offer.
Soho's us. We are Soho. Soho's gay, basically.
It's the same as Soho in any big city.
Gay or a
you know what you're going to find when you go there.
All major cities are built on their waterways, and London is no exception. I'm spending my day on the Thames, starting in the east at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, then traveling upstream by boat to the Botanical Gardens at Kew, then on to King Henry VIII's Palace at Hampton Court. Southeast of the city lies the suburb of Greenwich, most famous for being the center of time and space. The ancient Greeks worked out a way of calculating latitude, but longitude was another matter altogether. Without it, ships had no way of calculating how far east or west they were, leaving them at risk of getting lost at sea. In 1675, work started on a Greenwich observatory in hopes of finding an astronomical solution to this crisis. John Flamsteed created this imaginary line, which is the Greenwich Meridian, and plotted the movement of the stars against it, hoping that that might provide an accurate tool. His work and the invention of an accurate clock gave Britain the key to ruling the waves. Now that accurate navigation was possible, scores of adventurers headed off to exotic climes in search of wealth and glory. One of the great prizes was rare plants in the days when tulips were more valuable than gold. The Royal Botanical Gardens at Kew has one of the greatest collections of plants from that era, and it has been growing ever since. This is Tom Hartdyke, a plant fanatic who continues this adventurous tradition. While searching for orchids near the border of Colombia, he was kidnapped by guerrillas.
They're taking this away from paramilitary zone. They're hiding us for lots of millions of dollars that they thought away from all the dangers, and they hid us so well that they took us to areas that weren't farmed. There was no cultivation of any sort. No populations there, and orchids were just everywhere, and these guys were hanging from the trees.
Thanks to the energy of these explorers, the plant collection at Kew is now so extensive, it has recently been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. A little further up the river is another of outer London's biggest attractions. Hampton Court Palace was the royal residence of possibly the most famous King of England, Henry VIII. Off with his head! Hampton Court was built for Cardinal Wolsey, the Lord Chancellor of England in 1516. It is one of England's most impressive houses and was constructed as a display of the Cardinal's wealth and to inflate his own sense of self-importance. Unfortunately, when requested, he could not persuade the Pope to grant Henry VIII the divorce from Catherine of Aragon, and he fell out of favor. Even his gift of Hampton Court to the king could not prevent his downfall.
This is the staircase leading to the King's apartments, and it was designed to impress visitors, and as you can see, it still does. This is the guard chamber, and originally you would have had about 40 or 50 guards in here, making sure that only the most important people got any further or any closer to the King. And it all depended on how well dressed you were.
You think I would have made it?
No.
Well, that's too bad.
And then finally we come into perhaps one of the most important rooms, which is the King's state bedchamber. And this was as far as you could come, really, before you got into the King's private apartments, where only the King and his very closest servants could go. And here we come to one of the most intimate rooms in the whole palace, the closed stool.
The King's throne.
In a
the
way.
other
The
throne.
most important servant that the King had was the groom of the stole, whose job it was, officially at least, to empty this thing. He was the most privy of the King's servants. He was the King's personal and private servant.
Somebody actually wanted to be the groomer of the stool, meaning take care of
It was a
the-
great honour, yes, and it was always given to an aristocrat.
Now it's time for a little mental challenge. This is the maze at Hampton Court, and it's supposed to take 20 minutes to find the center and come out again, but I am known for my sense of direction, so I'm going to be out in 10. Don't give me any clues. I don't want any clues. Ha, you got lost, didn't you? No, not me. Come on. Oh! Oh, that's embarrassing. You're going the wrong way. Do you know where the middle is? Oh, shoot. The maze was planted in the late 17th century for William of Orange and attracts hundreds of thousands of tourists each year. The middle's there, but there's a fence and a shrub in my way. The middle's here, the middle's here. Yes! This must be the center. Wow, kind of anticlimactic, don't you think? Anyway, I'm out of here.
Despite being old and run down, the London Underground, or Tube, is normally the quickest way to travel around. If you're planning to do a lot of travelling, then it's a good idea to buy a weekly or daily pass.
Today we're heading to West London, with Jonathan exploring Hyde Park and the most famous shop in Knightsbridge, Harrods, while I go shopping in super swanky Belgravia.
Now this is the place to be on a fine Sunday morning in London. Hyde Park. Up until the 18th century, it was overrun by highwaymen and robbers. These days, it's the perfect place for people to come and just chill out. This is one of the greenest capitals in the world. There are 5 major parks in central London alone, and the largest of these is Hyde Park, which takes up 340 acres. Every Sunday, the tranquility is shattered by Speaker's Corner, a century-old tradition whereby anyone can get up and argue over just about anything.
South Korea is already out of it. Does that mean to say that you should all change your doctor? It's quite possible, through inexperience, she did something a little bit what she should not have done. look.
Let's check him on.
Are you stupid? Why would you want to know? You want a friend?
You just love an argument. You don't care what side you take, do you? So this is Knightsbridge. Very exclusive. And that's Harrods. Nice building. Apparently it's a dress code, so I'm not sure if they're even going to let me in, but I'll give it a shot. Ooh, it looks so classy. Check it out. See what I mean about rules and regulations.
You know, Harrods. It's Harrods, man.
Harrods is one of the best-known department stores in the world. The boast here is that you can buy absolutely anything. This proved true in the 1980s when President Ronald Reagan ordered an elephant, and the sales assistant simply inquired, "Will that be African or Indian, sir?"
This is good enough for Ascot.
Oh, definitely. One of the best make in the world you can buy. Canary. Tasmanian wool.
Tasmanian?
Yes.
Oh, I'll try that on. Yeah,
Yes.
cheers.
You want to come through?
Yes, please. Oh, very salubrious. Look at that, eh?
This is Belgravia, home to some of Britain's wealthiest people. And if you fancy perusing the world's luxuries, this is the place to go. For a mere $350,000, you can buy the most classic of English cars, the Rolls-Royce. I don't know if it's my color exactly. You can get some caviar. Whoa, whoa. Oh my God, one bit. Or even Cuban cigars. No embargo here. And just next door is a hat maker who is said to be the best in the world. Now this I gotta see. Hello, I'm Megan.
Hi, Megan.
I'm gonna introduce you. This is Philip Tracy, and this is his hat shop. I'm very excited. What inspires you to design hats?
I think I designed hats because I was challenged by the idea of changing people's perception of what a hat looked like. You know, our clients range from, you know, movie stars, pop stars, housewives, young kids who've saved up £150 for a hat. You know, everybody from sort of members of the royal family to Marilyn Manson.
Something strangely wonderful about Marilyn Manson and the Queen sharing the same hat designer. That's not contemporary. I don't know what it is.
You know, this sort of hat we do for sort of, no, it's fine. Mary J. Blige, Justin Timberlake.
Yes, Megan
sort of-
McCormick, almost as cool as the two of
Looks
them.
good. Canvas hat.
Oh, now, what do you think?
Looks good.
He's like, it's my hat. I think it looks great.
Something like this is a more sort of, you know, smart wedding hat or...
No, that is very, very fantastic. Look at that. Oh no, do you have to take it off right away?
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
we try
no.
another one. This is kind of about as major as it gets for Ascot. So with something like this, then you just look perfect for Ascot.
Do you think? Do you have any extra tickets?
Got hats, no tickets.
Hats, but no tickets. Jonathan will just have to go without me.
The Ascot Racecourse is about 30 miles southwest of London, and the event of Royal Ascot takes place every summer in mid-June.
What can we expect at Ascot? That's the question.
Well, Ascot is it's the premier flat race meeting of the year. I mean, horses, trainers, jockeys, they're all looking to peak today.
It's Royal Ascot, actually, isn't it?
It's Royal Ascot because it is, the racecourse itself is actually owned by the Queen, and she loves her racing.
Is it just aristocrats, or
No.
do you get bricklayers going
You
down to
get
Ascot?
everybody. I mean, that's what, as I was saying to you earlier, yeah, everybody. Racing is a great leveler.
You guys must be the most photographed girls here.
It's the first time we've been here, actually.
These are great. And what's this? Is like a racing game.
Yes, sure.
Oh, the two of us? Yeah, it'll do a lot for my image, honestly. How about one at a time? Me and then her, and then you and me. And how about you and me? Why don't you get a picture of the two of us?
George, mate. Where have you been? What have you been doing? Oh, I've just been meeting people and drinking champagne. And you've been having a good time.
It's just a party, isn't it? I don't think anyone's here for the horses.
Everybody is not here for the horses. The horses are incidental.
Oh, there she is. Yo!
Prince Phil's here as well.
Why did you come to the barbecue?
If you hadn't already noticed, Ascot is much more than a prestigious sporting event. For many of the British upper classes, it is also the social event of the season.
Who needs Ascot when you can go down the dogs? Greyhound racing is a traditional English sport where customers, known as punters, gamble vast amounts of money, drink gallons of beer, and speak in a strange tongue.
5-year-old over at the other end. Come on, friends, let him have a bet, please. This is my beer. 3 dogs, full score 55. Good, eh? Really?
Now, what do you particularly look for when you're watching the dogs? I know the trainers have certain knowledge, but
mine's just superstitious. I always like to look at black dogs. They always look the fastest.
Someone told me that you should watch the dogs before they start racing, and whichever one might use the bathroom, that's the one you should bet on.
Good system. I have heard that system before, actually. I'm going to have to try it, see if it works.
There's a whole lot of yelling and pushing and shoving going on, but basically I got an inside scoop for you. The number 3 dog is not only black, but it went to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? It's lighter now. So I am going 10 quid on number 3, Bailstorm. Hello, sir.
Good shoes, look at them. Come on, any creature.
Bailstorm.
How much you want on it?
10,
Tenner.
please.
27 after 10. 3 dog, ticket 93. Thank you.
What did he just say? No idea what he just said.
They just go, you're right, I'll pay you out when you please.
Go, go, go! Go, number 3! Run like the wind, baby! Run like the wind! I can hardly stand it! Come on, number 3 dog! Run like the wind! Yes! 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 Cha, cha, cha. I went down to the dogs and I won! I'm gonna go collect! Today we are heading to North London. I'm starting at a remarkable temple in Neasden, while Jonathan checks out Highgate Cemetery and the famous market in Camden.